Okay, hi. I'm now going to show you how to actually create an animated GIF out of all your frames. So here I have in my original animation, I have all my frames that I've saved, but I can still have all these layers from the background that I moved separately to create the animation. So I don't need those anymore, but I don't want to lose this in case I want to work back into it sometime. So I'm going to just open up this group of frames, click on the top one, scroll to the bottom, hold shift, click on it, and we're going to create a new file and basically drag these in. So just say file new and make sure it's the same size as your last animation, so this is the same as mine, and name it something slightly different so you know what it is. So I'll call this animation frames and say OK. Now I can drag my original animation out of this window so it's separate. And when I do that, make sure your move tool is selected over here, and just click in the image anywhere while all those frames are selected and click and drag them into your new image. Okay, and I'll be able to match those up. Make sure that your view snap is checked. Okay, when you drag this, then it will help it snap to the edges of your document really easy. Okay. Because I think I told you to start this image a little bit larger than you really need since it's a web-based animation and we're trying to create a small file that loads easily, go to image size, and you want to make sure that you're both at web resolution but also that your maximum pixel dimension is 600. So if it's not, make sure resample image is clicked like this. It's already clicked. And choose bicubic sharper, the one that says best for reduction, because we're making the image a little smaller. And then just make that number 600 and say OK. Okay, so now it's resized. I'm going to say view fit on screen, or I can say command 0 and it does the same thing. So I'll look at it a little bigger. Get your animation palette out. So under Window, Animation. And my animation palette comes up like this first. I prefer a different view. Now before I actually create the animation, go to the bottom of your frame since we pasted this in a new document, and you'll see you have a background. You want to get rid of that. So throw your lock in the garbage and get rid of layer 0. We don't need that. Okay. Now in your animation palette, go to this corner box, click on it, and go all the way down to Make Frames from Layers. Click on that. Now I prefer a different view better, so down here in the lower corner you'll see there's a little button that says Convert to Frame Animation. Go ahead and click on that. Okay, now if I play this, you'll be able to see my whole animation go by. Here, I'll move this down here. And right now it's just playing once and then it should stop. Down here in the palette you'll see the time that each frame is going by, so they're very quick right now, and generally you want all your frames to be the same time, same duration. So to do that, click on the last one, drag it all the way to the beginning, hold shift, click on the first one, and then this little button right down here where it says how many seconds it's showing, click that. My animation's kind of slow because it's actually about time passing, like the sun going by. So I might start it with 1 second. Many of you might try 0.5 to start with. And then you can alter individual frames if you want them to be a little longer in parts. Okay, so now I'll start it on frame 1 and press play. And you'll see it's much slower than before. And I like that just since mine is about the sun and moon going around the earth and the things that happen when they do. Okay, I'm going to press stop, and I'm going to make sure mine is playing forever. So if I watch this later after I save it, it will keep going around and around and around. I like designing loops. Okay, basically if you're happy with your timing at this point, the only thing you have to do is save it. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to File and Save for Web and Devices. And this is the box that will come up, and right now it's trying to preview it, so I'll pause this. And now it's previewing my image in Photoshop. Make sure that up here you've selected a GIF, so this is for your animation. And in general, you'll probably want 256 colors. If you're not seeing some of these dots already, you could try to lower that, and it will lower your overall number for how big the file is. Make sure this is perceptual and diffusion, and if you have any kind of layers that are less than 100% opaque, or parts of your image that are, make sure you have transparency checked. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And choose where, so I'll say maybe web animation. Save. Okay, now before you close this file, we want to go to where we've saved it. And we're going to test that it's working. Let me see if I have another window. Here we go. So wherever you saved it, now you want to click on it and actually drag it into a web browser. So like I have Firefox on my computer. Drag it into a web browser, and this will take a second, but it will actually play in it. If it plays correctly, then you know you've done this right. Okay, so here's my animation, and it's playing in a web window, you can see, in Firefox. And this is a very complex GIF, so it's kind of big. It's not necessarily something I'd use as a profile picture or anything. But I can email it around and tell people to open it with their internet browser. You can see there's a little quality lost when you make these animations. But you basically used all your knowledge of layers and editing and creating imagery from scratch, and warping to create an image that moves through time.